Yeah, and then we made eye contact and both covered in glitter and regret, and I knew we'd never talk about that gnome again, but it would always haunt our memories.
What was his name again?
I named him Nomeo.
Nomeo.
Nomeo, Nomeo. We're for the glitter Nomeo.
Yeah.
Jackass. Welcome to High Alpha Hooligans, everybody. I'm Scud, and we have, as always, Fifi and Jimmy, the real Jimmy Chaos please stand up?
Oh, hey, I'm here, guys. It's real.
It's real.
The beard.
Thanks to Grey Wolf for filling in last week.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
And
Grey Wolf. Thank you.
On that note, if you didn't watch the last episode, you should. But thank you to all the people that tuned in and watched. We hit 21,000 views by the time of this recording, which is maybe not a lot by YouTube standards, but a hell of a lot by High Alpha Hooligan standards.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we gained 1,300 subs.
Yeah.
After that video, so hell
Yeah.
yes.
It was.
We have arrived, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god, that camera's following.
Jimmy's cameraman's trying to keep up with it. He's like running out of the spotlight. Good.
Well,
This is the hard part.
Hold still,
I
kid.
have my daughter, 10 years old. She wants to be part of the podcast. So I said, you can hold the camera today. So she's back behind my monitor following me.
Yeah. Her ability to
right. That's
pan
what
and
it is.
stop is unparalleled.
He's really doing this.
Almost like she's AI.
Weird. I'm playing
what
with
was
toys,
the show?
guys.
What was that show where it's like GoBot? Like, what is my purpose? Shut the hell up, GoBot. I can't remember. I'm not to
Put in a little sound of crickets right here when you edit this, Fifi.
Yeah, so I'm not going to do that. So somebody's gonna. Anyways,
So we'll start off with thanks to our sponsor, Fox 3 Managed Solutions, and recognition to our partners, Eagle Dynamics, Heat Blur, and Grinelli Designs. This episode, we're going to talk about the new patch that came out. This isn't like a thing we're going to do where we always talk about each patch, but like sometimes the patch has significant changes to things we either talked about recently or significant additions, and this patch has some. So we're going to talk about updates to the F4U Corsair, the sniper pod. We'll get into the naming and nomenclature on that. Jimmy's going to try to piss me off. And we'll talk about the terrain avoidance radar in the Hornet. And then we're going to just regale you with bullshit, stupid stories and talk about whatever the hell else comes to mind. So
yeah, kind of a chill night. This go, like it's just a chill podcast. But speaking of Fox 3, Luck came and flew Warbirds with us on the Warbirds campaign.
Yeah,
and he's a really good Mustang.
Yes, he is.
He was
oh my
really good.
gosh.
That was a lot of fun. So
Dude,
I think he put up a video on his YouTube as well.
He did. Everybody go check it out. Fox 3. It's just
Yes.
Fox 3, one word. And you can see what kind of buffoonery we do.
Well,
Virtually.
I love that he streamed it and he has our High Alpha Hooligans logo on his stream.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Eating that shit up. But also we had another suddenly good Mustang pilot, and that was you, Fifi. What made you so good all of a sudden, Fifi?
I've been practicing. Not at all, because I haven't flown in a month and a half. And then I was like, and then everybody's like, let's jump on a Mustang. Arguably one of the hardest airplanes I could fly in DCS.
You are so much better. Why is that?
It's because
skill, right?
It's because I practice. Yeah. I practice a lot. Yeah.
It has nothing to do with any hardware that Jimmy sent you that you've been sitting on for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I finally got the Wind Wing all set up, the Orion throttle and the HOTAS and everything like that. Finally got it all in, and yeah, it's phenomenal. I can't be cheap anymore, and you guys have ruined me. I thought I was going to be good at being cheap, but it's holy crap. It makes a huge difference.
Perspective. He gets these. He's gifted to the generosity of the bearded one. He's gifted a wing throttle and stick that he's been sitting like probably on the floor under his desk for 3 weeks, and every time
I'd have to go
Like-
back to the text. I'm like, Fifi, you unpack it? And he's like, no, it's still on the table. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes, and he's just like reluctant. He's just reluctant to hook it up and use it. And then when he hooks it up and use it, it's this standard like we're gonna go fly. And he's like, "Whoa, now I got to remap all my buttons. My life sucks so much." And then the moment he took off and flew in it, it was just, guys, look how good I'm flying. Look at me in formation. Look how much. Oh my god, I can feel the buffet. This is so much better. Oh my god.
It was hilarious. So for setting, we have a flight of 5 Mustangs. We have a flight of 4 Spitfires. We're flying out to meet 28 different bombers to escort them in, welcome them to England. This is part of our, campaign. It's the elusive campaign.
The one that you built. Like you gotta take more credit for that.
It's ours.
He's just a janitor.
I am just a janitor.
Just a janitor.
But so we're flying out like really tight, and all of a sudden Fifi just like, he's like 5. He breaks silent. He's like, oh my god, this thing is fucking awesome. For like 2 minutes, and literally Scud and I literally just like, we didn't berate everybody. We were like, hey, we need to keep comms clean. We got one radio. We're only using SRS. And then there's Fifi over there gushing, canopy open. This is awesome, guys.
Fist bumping out into the airstream.
Jaeger bombs,
You can drag a horse to water, and then when he finally drinks, it's like, this is the best shit ever. Why didn't you tell me water was so good?
Okay. Yeah.
On that note,
awesome.
we gotta hydrate.
Hydrate.
And I will say, like, once you guys showed me how to like get the profiles and stuff like that, which you and Blackbird like working with me on that.
Yeah.
And getting downloading those profiles and stuff. That was really cool. I got the Hornet mapped. I got the Hornet in there. I've got the F4 in there, and I got the Mustang, and of course I have the Hercules done in there, and I've flown all of them with it. And the F4 is really cool because with the haptic feedback setup on it, you actually feel like all of the F4. And
it talks to you.
He did a good job with their haptic feedback on the module.
So now, I am trying to convince my wife to get a doctorate so I can upgrade the house, so I can get a gaming room, so I can get a sim rig, so I can buy a Moza. So
he's been walking on that tightrope for so long, and we just pushed his ass right off.
Yeah.
No, it goes back to the episode that we did, the Stick Talk episode. It goes back to, yes, you can play DCS on a laptop with an Xbox controller with nothing else. But when you do step that ladder up, the immersion that comes with that ladder, I think is tenfold beyond, the price difference between whatever gear you're running.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
There are certain places where the money is a solid investment. And
it's not cheap. It's not cheap by any means, but I will say that my enjoyment level is up there. I even have little desk mounts for it. It's hanging out there.
He's like, we installed DCS.
That was part of his complaint too. He's like, I gotta build these desk mounts.
Dude, I was sweating. I was about to have a freaking heart attack. Like I dropped like a couple of because these are like aluminum desk mounts, and I dropped one on the tile, and my wife comes running out of the bedroom because it's like also like 12:30 in the morning, and she's like, "Are you okay? Did you die up front?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just trying to put this stupid shit together." So yeah.
Well, there you go. You can fly, but if you invest some money, you can fly better.
And on the talk, on the subject of cool stuff with toys, Moza also came out with an update with elevator droop for the Moza.
Oh,
AB9, and that is also fantastic. Scud found it, and he's like, "Guys, I got this flashlight out. I'm digging into this chest, and it's got this new setting." And we all turned it on, and immediately, smiles, went for miles. So,
yeah, but it's such a simple, addition that made the airplane feel more real. For those that aren't familiar, the 30-second version, in a lot of the cable and push and pull rod controlled airplanes, non-hydraulic controlled airplanes like the Warbirds, the elevator, when you're not moving it it's going to fall with gravity. Gravity's just going to pull the elevator down, which in turn pulls the stick forward. And that's all it was. It was just a setting that simulates that. And so when you're on the ground without any airflow, the stick just falls forward. And when you pull it back, you can feel the weight of the elevator.
Yeah.
And then once you start rolling, the air loads hit, the elevator smooths out, and then it feels normal. It's just this tiny bit of immersion that makes the airplane feel that much more realistic. So bravo.
Yeah. Two things for Moza. If there's any Moza users out there, that droop you have to turn on. And then the second thing that, Scott also kind of found was turning up the gain, changed the controls a lot too, and added a lot to it. And Moza, I think, is doing a really good job of, because when we first got the Mozas a while ago, the user interface, the UI was pretty rigid, but now it's expanded beyond so many different categories of input and telemetry that it can extrapolate into the game to add to that immersion. I think Moza is doing a really good job of not only putting out a good product, but continuously updating it to making it better and better.
I will say so too. On that note, speaking of updating things to make them better, let's talk about some of the stuff from the patch. You want me to go, or do you want you guys want to go first?
We'll go with the simple one first. We'll go with the simple one first because I feel like the F-18 update, the terrain avoidance radar.
Avoidance, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Big quotations, avoidance. So they updated, there's the terrain, quote unquote, avoidance radar. It's more like a terrain awareness radar, I would probably call it more.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I was calling it a situational awareness, or what was the situational?
So what I found about it was it is cool, very rudimentary. It's not what you think it's going to be. It's still good to have because you didn't have anything like that before in the Hornet, but it's definitely not an end-all be-all. So basically what it does is it gives you 3 shades of green, and the lesser, like there's like dull green, mid-range green, and like bright green. And so bright green means you're going to hit it. Dull, that mid-range green means it's definitely a danger. You're going to be passing within a couple hundred feet of it. Wags made a really good video.
I think it was 500 feet, right?
It was something like that. And then the dull green means it's like no factor. So with it though, in order to pull it up, you have to go into, unless when I was messing around with, I couldn't figure out any way to go into it just in like nav mode into like into it from just like clicking on the attack radar, MFD buttons, OSBs, and then like kind of going in there. You can't. You have to go into air to ground mode to get the radar into ground mode. And then you can go through like, C, GMT, map, and then there's the TA mode. It sits out like a 40-degree angle, looks out 10 miles. I definitely suggest clicking it down to about 5 miles because it kind of compresses all of the terrain.
Makes the terrain more digestible to understand.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. If you're moving at high rates of speed, like the problem is the update is really slow on it because of the fact that it's doing like the big 40-degree sweep, and you'll see it sweeping across the screen. And so if you were, RIP Strike Eagle, but if you're thinking of it as it's going to be like the same sort of like TFR as the Strike Eagle, get that shit out of your head right now because it's not. But if you want something that is going to keep you from running into the top of a sand dune off of one of your mission makers, creating a mission where you take off in the Suez Canal and then you have to, you remember that? Yeah, remember that one?
Dude, that was part of Scott and I's discussion about it.
Yeah, and I flew face first into the freaking sand dunes trying to keep up with Scud because I was trying to fly formation.
I think we have that clipped.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, but I think it's on Scud's Twitch. But yeah, I mean, it's more of a terrain awareness radar.
Yeah,
I wouldn't use it for anything more than just knowing like there is something out there that I could run into.
Yeah, so
keep your eyes up.
I'll throw some stuff onto that, having not even used it, just watching you test it. I agree with you completely. It's not. So first off, no shade at the devs for putting this into the game.
Yeah,
this is me talking about the tech. And it may not be fully modeled, and it may not be accurate to what the Hornet's really like. So they probably call it terrain avoidance in the airplane, and and they probably modeled it exactly the way they needed to put it in DCS. But just from a tech aspect, it's not, to me, it's terrain awareness. You look at the radar screen and you go, oh, I'm aware where the mountains are. Where, to me, an avoidance system, even in the B-52, which predates the Hornet by a long shot, our terrain avoidance radar put an indicator on our flight instruments and a little airplane symbol. And if your airplane symbol was above the indicator, you would miss the terrain. So it gave you something to use to avoid the terrain other than just looking and going, well, I can see where the mountains are. And we have something similar in the Airbus I fly. It paints the mountains yellow and red if they're close or if we're going to hit them. But in addition, it also tells me terrain, pull up so that I can avoid it. So I agree. It's an awareness tool way more than I expected it when you call it an avoidance tool. I will throw out, if you are thinking about bringing that back to a 5-scope, and again, I don't know how to use it. I don't fly in the Hornet. I'm not a Hornet driver, but just as a high-speed jet guy, if you want to know how fast you're going in a jet, it's roughly Mach. That's how many miles a minute you're going. So if you're going 0.8 Mach, you're going about 8 miles a minute. So if you're doing like 0.9 and you bring that into a 5-scope, you're looking like 35 seconds ahead of you. So if you think I'm going to go bad weather, low light conditions, and rage through the mountains while staring at my radar screen
with the
and
radar
getting
sweep.
a 35 second with the time delay in the sweep, good luck.
Yeah.
So just be aware of the limitations of you going fast down low with that system.
Insert the clip of the alien fighter ship like crashing into the side of the Grand Canyon after Will Smith ejects.
Welcome to Earth. Freaking love that movie.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
I did fly. So the campaigns we always run, the current campaign that we have, completely socked in with rain, and it was like 1 a.m, and I was like, I want to run it. Because truth be told, I got new controls and I didn't map the
Stupid
Viper,
camera.
and my homework was the Viper, and I was like, I sat down and back over here. There we go.
Stupid camera.
Jackass.
And so when I realized I didn't want to do mapping for the Viper, I hopped in the Hornet, and because of the weather, the time of day, I shot an approach on one of the northern airfields on Caucasus with weather, and I put the radar on, and I liked it for the awareness that it gave me for terrain. So
yeah, because it's something
cool.
that we don't have in the Hornet,
Yeah.
right? Like, so it's definitely useful. And then the other thing is you can set, and you can kind of have like a ghetto FLIR as well, in the sense of, setting your pod to the vertical velocity
plows.
slave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it can, you can kind of have the ghetto versions of it all.
Tools in your toolbox.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
But like we said with the F4 and with other things, like realistic expectations, right?
Right. It's a video game still. Oh, sorry. It's a simulator. I might, I don't.
We just lost all of our sponsors and partners. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's all right. We'll just get slammed in all the hot.
you said it's all right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Fifi has just left the crew of the High Alpha Hooligans. So
we'll get slammed in all the Reddits. Oh, speaking of Reddits, I started us our own Reddits because we got tired of the toxicity on Reddit. And I'm also banned from like Hoggit and all that kind of stuff anyway. So we said, screw it. We're going to make our own with blackjack and hookers.
It may take a while to build, but we're going to build a positive Reddit environment for DCS.
So for anybody who loves DCS and loves positivity and sharing things and AI pictures and anything
I don't know how
like
to do the
that.
finger heart things.
It's just this. It's oh my god.
No,
Okay, well,
it's the new way. Jimmy's got the new way to do it.
Yeah, he's hip with the kids, but
do it the right way, Boomer.
I'm the young one on the crew.
I take it back to this all the time. We're just a bunch of fat 40-year-olds talking about video games.
I'm not
No
40.
cap.
I'm not even 40 yet.
No cap.
But
No cap.
But yeah, we started a Reddit. So r/High Alpha Hooligans DCS is the main one. And then just so any of you trolls couldn't come and snatch it up, thanks, Grey Wolf. I also grabbed High Alpha Hooligans. So those are the two official Reddits. The High Alpha Hooligans one, just the High Alpha Hooligans one, is I have it shut down and locked down right now. as a backup. So just in case. And then we're going to use the High Alpha Hooligans DCS Reddit thread. Go in there, join it. It's empty right now. I'm still working on getting things going. I got to learn how to be a community manager in Reddit. Yeah. So that's going to be fun to figure out. But you guys
right
go
now
in
it's
there
like, yeah, right now it's like Fifi's inviting you over to his apartment and then you show up and there's no furniture.
Yeah.
No, it's got like the
That's what
fold
it
out
is.
camp chair.
Yeah.
But I promise we're going to have pizza and I'll bring some beer.
There you
So yeah, you guys definitely come over and join that. Anyways, continuing.
Well, other patch notes, what do you want to call it, Jimmy?
The
pod.
pod.
Thank you.
Pod.
Yes.
Come on, guy.
Oh, you act like you're all on board with that.
It's funny. So we're talking. I was like, yeah, the ATP. And he's like, the what? I was like, sniper pod. He's there. You go.
There it is.
But yeah. So to piggyback off of Fifi. So one of the very first episodes of High Alpha Hooligans was the multi-role fighter discussion, Viper versus Hornet. And with this last patch, I think there's now tangible separation in systems because you have the radar for the ground with the Hornet, and now you have a completely newer, more accurate targeting pods for the Viper. I actually have to get my notes out, but I had to take some notes.
Don't forget to put on your glasses when you do it.
I don't have my glasses down here.
Boomer.
It's only like the far away I can't see. So the history of it, the Lightning is what we have been flying with forever in the Viper, and we're like, it's great. However, in DCS we have a Block 50 series Viper, and in order for that to be accurate, it needs to be paired with that sniper pod. Came out in early 2000s. It's on our Viper that we have in DCS. And it's a extremely versatile sniper pod. So when DCS is ready to, throw in the B2, the B52 and the B1, sniper pod's already built. So, that work's done.
Oh yeah.
It has a really strong air-to-air mode, which is super freaking cool. We're going to keep it kind of short. But the air-to-air mode, you can put it's basically a snowplow, looks forward, and you put it into auto detect, and it can range out to, if I remember correctly, 10 miles. And it can identify multiple targets on the MFD, and then you can cycle through primary and alternate targets on there, and you'll get your queuing up in your HUD for where they are in relation to your position.
In other words, it just gave the Viper Erstis IR search and track capabilities.
It is super slick. For comparison to the Lantern, old tech, it was, depending on the weather, it's 3 to 5 times better at search distance. You can pick out a individual in IR mode at 44 miles.
In the game.
In the game.
In real life, the XR is not that. Environmentals affect it more, but
so it depends on the environment. Because the first time I tried doing it was in our campaign, socked in with weather, and I had the same visibility limitations that would affect anything. And then I was like, all right, go to the training range, and I was able to see MDR below where the tankers are. It is insane. In the XR mode, the extra range, where's the note? Extended range, not extra range, extended range is fantastic. You have to be in either point track, area track, or INR. And then what it does is it'll have like a little symbology, and when it's ready, you can zoom in even further into it and get more detail. So it's kind of like the radar in the Strike Eagle, to where you can do that radar picture and then have it focus and paint you like that perfect map of the Earth for your targeting. It's extremely HOTAS friendly too. And I say that coming from the Lightning in the Viper, because the Viper was the first thing that I loved in DCS. And then I found a second love, and I had to, split my time 2 Christmases with that and the Hornet.
secret Hornet family.
I got the secret Hornet family. Don't tell Dad, but don't tell the kids. But going to the AT Flare in the Hornet was an easy transition from Lightning to AT Flare. But the two of those, when it comes to functionality and HOTAS switchology for being user friendly doesn't have a lot on the Sniper Pod. Sniper Pod is super the target management switch. You can do everything. Another thing that's really cool about it is it has a picture-in-a-picture mode, so you can see the outside extrapolation of what you're looking at, and then you have your narrow inside there. So we've all been that tumbleweed, virtual pilot where we're down there staring because we can't find, a building at a target location or whatever we're looking for. And with this picture-in-a-picture mode, you get that wide-angle view, so you can find that key reference, and then you can slew right to what you're looking for if you have an idea of what you're looking for.
He really did bring a bunch of good notes, didn't he?
I got like 4 pages, dude.
He's got his little marker, and he's like,
another thing.
I'm surprised they didn't roll a whiteboard up behind him, and he's like back there drawing on it. Are you guys watching? Hold on. Look.
Another super cool thing that it has is auto gain on IR and on TV mode. And when you hit, it's on the left side of the MFD, when you hit the auto gain, it will give the best attempt at analyzing the picture, and it'll adjust your gain. So you don't have to sit there and, mash your buttons and everything. Of course, it has MAV handoff. That is kind of the notes. It has 3 principal views. It has the TV, white hot, black hot, and it has a multi-track capability to where you can identify multiple targets in a target environment. And then with your HOTAS, you go from primary to alternate to alternate to alternate, and you can cycle between the 3. So you can ripple GBUs way faster than even in like a Hornet, even on the slew, just clicking the slew to mark a point, send that point, release, send the point, release, send the point, release. So if you're out at 44 miles, you got good visibility, you can mark all 4 of your targets and then literally release, switch, release, switch, release, switch, and then you're out. So you don't even have to have, that momentary delay of sweetening your grid or finding that good grid, for the drop, because you can put it in a point track and then multi-track multiple targets.
Nice.
That's impressive.
I flew with both in the B-52, which is the platform limits it some, and the sniper was way better. The XR mode, it does not work as good in real life as it does in DCS, but it's there, and that's awesome. So use it. It's a debated topic though right now online, whether it's good or bad. Some people love it and some people hate it. So again, I would caution people to temper your expectations, right? It's not, I think the Sniper Pod is better, but if you don't like it, then don't use it. Like there's no reason to go out and publicly blast the devs or the game or this, they were giving me this brand new great pod and it's not that great. Well, it is better, but there are trade-offs. There are probably things that the Lightning Pod is going to be better at, mission type versus the sniper. And you may like one over the other. So go in and I would just say, go in and figure out which one you like better and use it. Well, honestly, after flying the Hornet for so long, I don't think I can use the Lightning Pod. It's all I've got is at FLIR.
Yeah. One thing I would add to that is it's different switchology than the Lightning and the AT FLIR. So I did see like a video review and say it's like, it doesn't work, but then you go back and you read the instructions on how to use it, and the switchology is a little bit different. So it's just like anything else. This is a study level video game simulator, and you have to study. There are some visual bugs right now. The one thing I didn't mention is there's an IR pointer PTR mode, and it activates a IR laser to the target, and you can ground stabilize it, you can point track it, you can do whatever you want, so that everybody who's wearing night vision goggles don't look at it with a targeting pod, because you need nods, the IR, but you can see that pointer to where, say I'm Winchester, I'm up at whatever 1,000 feet, and I see a target, and I can circle with my IR pointer on this guy, and Scudder Fifi can roll in with nods and say, oh, right there, and then drop their mark point on it. So that is cool to me too.
the biggest thing about the sniper pod, it is a direct. It's the first targeting pod that came out in the ISR era of aerial warfare, because it was designed after we've been in Afghanistan and Iraq, and after we're doing the ISR thing, and it was designed for fighter jets to do cool ISR because the problem was that jets would show up, and when I was deployed, like, this was something that I always dealt with, right? Like was like, I'd have, my Preds or Reapers overhead, and we'd be finding targets, and they would be able to do targets. Yeah, we'd be able to do stuff, and then the jets would roll in, and they could not figure out where they were looking, what they were looking at, and stuff like that, because the pods weren't designed for that. But the Sniper XR does all that, and I can't say how many times we used the IR pointer when we're infilling, for them to point out terrain features or even mark a path for us to walk through.
Yeah.
And that's what it's really there for. So, you remember, this thing is it's an ISR heavy targeting pod. If you want an attack pod, I think the Lightning's probably still going to be better as a look-see do everything pod. I would say the Sniper is probably in that sense.
Yeah. And like you said, it's the first pod that gives something back to the ground forces. So, ground forces always has to train how to do 9 lines, how to communicate, how to do target talk-ons. This was really the first tool that came out for people on the ground to say, I don't know what you're talking about. Where are you going? And he's like, oh, let me turn on my IR. And you pull your knot up. You're like, oh shit, there's the bad guy.
Yeah. There's another thing I'll point out on it that again, temper your expectations. It's what's the warm-up time on that thing?
Oh, that was the number one note. So this thing, this
he got excited.
Beautiful turd of technology, 11 minutes to warm up. So, my booty, who got the straw of, hey, go try the sniper pod. I'm just flying like this, staring. It is really cool though, because it gives you it gives you a status of the bit test, so it counts from 0 to 100, and so you know where you're at. But that goes so slow. You're like, all right, 1, 2. So turn that on the ground.
Yeah, and like applying that to the way a lot of people fly DCS. Like if you're jumping in a 4YA or any of these other servers that are like a pickup game, and you're like, I'm going to take off and I'm going to be on target in 5 minutes. Like, well, yeah, you might need to drive away from the target for a while and let that thing warm up.
But that means the F-16s run out of gas. You have to wait 11 minutes for it.
It's 11 minutes. Nobody has 11 minutes.
Bro, I got to tank twice to get to that.
Yeah, Jimmy, did you recognize when Scud was handing out these things? Like when he was handing out the assignments for us to test things? Like the first thing he said was, I'll get the Corsair.
I wanted the Corsair, but it wasn't maybe.
You know what? I was the first one to the cake to cut slices out. So if you wanted to pick, you should have ran up there.
I was happy with mine. I know the F-18.
I didn't just do it to hose you guys. One, I wanted the F4 because I don't know if somebody on the podcast has time behind an R2800 engine, raise your hand.
No.
But then Fifi's a Viper kid, or a Hornet kid. And Jimmy, Hornet kid. And Jimmy, like all you ever do when we talk planes is you talk about your first true love. So I'm like, well, I'll let Jimmy do some Viper testing. And here they are, just complaining.
I'm not complaining. I just had to remap everything, and there be buttons.
I'm tired. I'm sunburned. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Onto the F4 though, since we just did an episode about it. And they did a lot of stuff on the F4, and I have a few notes as well. But let's see what I can talk.
First and foremost, I'm gonna hold you right there. First and foremost, shout out to Mag 3 for doing
a
massive update on that. Like, holy crap!
Ear to the ground.
They went to town fixing so much stuff as soon as that was like freaking. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Take notes, all you other developers.
I hope they're watching.
How you do it.
We should tag them. I hope they're paying attention to the podcast.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyways, so first off, the more I fly the F4, the more I like it, and I already liked it. I will say there was nothing in the patch notes specifically about the flight model getting changed. That it was for the AI flight model, but not for the one that we have. But it feels like they've changed it a little. And I'm gonna just throw it out there and say, I don't think they did. I think I'm just learning how to fly it. Like the more time you spend in it, the easier it gets. And then I jumped right from the F4 back into the Mustang, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is what an airplane that actually has effective trim should feel like. Because I can trim the Mustang and most of the other warbirds up, and I can go hands off for a while. The Corsair, as much as I'm getting better at flying it, it still does not. It does not like to hold trim. It's super yaw changes for any airspeed or power changes. It seems exaggerated, but maybe that's the way it was. But I've noticed that when I fly it now, I rely substantially less on trim, and my feet are moving a whole lot more. And then the more I fly it, the more I start to my right foot connects to my left hand, and as I add power, I'm adding foot. So it just, the more I fly it, the better I get at it. One of the things that I was excited about, because I felt like it was missing, they said they've worked the engine heating and oil system into this, and I'll admit they have. The oil does react in temperature to airspeed changes and oil cooler door opening and closing. That being said, it wasn't what I was expecting or hoping to see. It's a different airplane, but I've flown R2000s. They're not super sensitive to cylinder head temperature changes. The Corsair is, and maybe it was in real life, but they are very susceptible to oil temperature issues. Again, I've read that the Corsair has a really robust oil cooling system, sure, but I could not overheat that oil. Like I went full war emergency power, and I closed all the oil cooler doors, and then I flew that thing at like 90 knots, 80 knots on the edge of a stall for, 20 minutes before I even touched redline on that oil temp engine. So, and it never got hot enough that I was experiencing a failure. Like I would have ran that out of gas, I think, before I experienced an oil overheat issue. And if you pass redline on an R2000, the engine's dead. And I got past redline, and it just didn't seem to react the way I expected it to. So it is implemented. You're still gonna have to pay way more attention to the cylinder heads than the oil, but I feel like the oil cooling system is way more robust than it needs to be. And I've read that it had a good cooling system, but I've also read things where it said pilot action on the oil cooler doors is important to keeping the oil temps right. And dude, I closed them and cooked it, and I could not overheat it. So there's that. They fixed the drag from the weapons. That's money. Because before, if you dropped, say you carried rockets and you shot the rockets, you got rid of the weight, but it still reacted like the rockets were there as far as drag. So you do get more speed out of the airplane. They talked about landing gear, putting it down at speed. So I went ahead and tried it, and sure enough, I ripped one of my tail wheel gear doors off. So I don't know if that's what they were talking about. They were talking about pressure issues, like the gear coming out slower at speed. But if you put the gear down, it will damage it now. That's good. Sounds improved. It sounds better, which is awesome. One of my favorite things they added in, and it's so stupid and simple, the antenna that's on the right side of the fuselage in front of the pilot, it now wobbles, and the faster you go, like you get a dive and that thing's just out there fluttering, and you can see the antenna above you wiggling, and it's just like that. That's such a cool detail. That being said, it's still clipped where it connects to the fuselage. Like from the cockpit, if you look at it, it looks like the antenna is hanging about 2 inches off the fuselage. And I even got in real close with the F4 view, and it's like from the sides it's connected, but from the back where you look at it, there's this gap where you can see through the antenna. So hopefully they fix that. But man, that's such a cool effect. All right. So other things that I noticed that I fought with, they added that you can cage and uncage the directional gyro. And I was like, cool, that's good. And then I could not, for 15, 20 minutes, flew around pissed off because I could not turn the knob to adjust my heading. It's like my directional gyro uncages, but it's never correct. On the knob, if you click on the closer half of the knob, it uncages and cages it. To turn it, you have to click, hold, and then spin the mouse wheel on the back half of the knob that's against the panel. So it's a really, really weird way. I mean, once I found it, I was like, okay, it's not broken. It's just really hard to manipulate. Other things that I noticed after the patch, the trim knobs are transparent. So if they're watching and listening, maybe they'll fix that.
That might be a VR thing versus flat panel too. Maybe.
Yeah, the clear lens over the trim gauge, it's like that transparency, that opacity is on the whole knob. Tiny Tims, they said they reduced splash damage on the weapons. Good. The Tiny Tims, holy shit. We were blowing ourselves up from like 500-600 yards away from target. Like I watched Dog from the air. I watched him shoot a Tiny Tim, miss the boat, and detonated on the water with a big splash of water. And then like 5 or 6 seconds later, he flew past it, but he was already saying he took damage from that impact, like 700 or 800 yards in front of him. So I know they're a big rocket, but my God, maybe the splash damage still needs to be dialed back on that.
No, because we still have submarines to kill. We need
right.
Oh, Jesus, stupid submarines.
we did kill it. We killed it.
We did with the bat bomb. Yeah. The F4 view. So again, I'm talking about stuff that notes I took that not just on the patch, but things I hope if they're listening that we can look at for fixes in the future. When you go to F4 view, it's looking back behind the airplane the opposite direction. Seems like such a silly thing, but you can't just F4 view and see the airplane without slewing it around and move. It's like a cam dragging behind the plane 50 feet, 30 feet, looking the wrong way. There was something else. Now I can't remember what it was, but oh well.
The cockpit shakes. The cockpit shakes now.
Dude, the cockpit shakes are good. Yeah, they did a lot of really good updates. It is much better, and like I said, I'm liking it more and more. Yeah, back to the flight controls. I think I can't point out to something that they've done that makes the flight controls better, but I just feel like the more you fly it, the easier it gets. So, yeah, again, magnitude, great job building the module to begin with and making it great, but then updating it, making it better quick. So what we're looking for, that table that folds out, like we mentioned before, boy, it would be really cool if we get an F10 map or a marker to draw on that. That would be money. That'd be cool. Yeah, that's what I got for that one.
Get with Heapler.
Dude,
ask them how they did basically the paint.
I was doing my weekly rounds on Twitch, watching people stream, and there was a duo front seat back seat, and they were grease markering, and the guy's like, man, they should have never given this to us. I can't see anything out this window now. And he's looking, and the dude's got like the Mona Lisa painted, and I'm like,
yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I mean, what else are you gonna do back there when you're getting gas?
You're like, I'm with stupid, arrow forward.
I did that when
back over here, guy.
Camera. I did that with Monty the other day. I jumped in their server while he was flying because Monty and I have been doing like these dad dates during the day because he's at home on paternity leave with a new baby. And so like when I put my kiddo down for a nap, like we'll jump on and we'll like fly here and there. It's good you walked in on it. This is so, and we'll just kind of hang out. And yeah, he rolled up on me in an F-14 and I did the whole loser, drew the arrow to him, got the screenshot. So it's always childish games with the F4. With the Phantom.
Love that airplane. I think it's my favorite module.
Everything that Heapler touches, I think is good.
Golden. Yeah.
Well, how about some quick stories? Let's do hooligan shit and talk dumb stuff.
I'm getting my timer ready because everybody knows I can talk.
Yeah, that's for those of you that see me like looking down and typing. That's what I'm doing. Like, I'm trying to ring in.
Also,
Jimmy Chaos.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the message just popped up from me. 9line just okayed the trailer, so we could talk about it.
Oh yeah!
All right, well, let's talk about that real quick.
Live on stream, 9line, you're the shit.
Hell yes. So we got the dogfight tournament coming up. We did a practice. Not going to go deep in the weeds on that, but to announce it, we were putting together an advertisement, a commercial to announce the dogfight tournament extravaganza. And we wanted it to be the intro to this video, but we're like, we haven't really got ED's approval since they're kind of sponsoring it and their logo's on it. Now we have their approval. So if you're watching, hang out to the end and we'll throw that video at the end of the podcast. And I'm really proud of the absurdity of this video.
Scud did good work on this. I jumped on today at like 11 or 10 this morning, and he's in voice chat. We have the secret chat, And he's in there, and we did the whole, hey, hi, how you doing? And he's like, don't look at my screen. I was like, you're not even sharing, dude. And then he's like, oh, yeah. And he's like, don't go anywhere. I got something to share with you. And he like hypes me without like even saying anything. So I'm sitting with goosebumps. What's going on? You know, like, let's go, Scud. The goosebumps. And then he plays it, and I was like, it's fucking beautiful.
Good.
It's so
it
good.
is when you guys see it and see how bad it is. I want you to know that the how horrible it is was exactly how I intended it to be. It's
Yeah.
spot
Oh,
on
man.
how I intended.
Just
Yeah, I think it's in
just
line with the
think
hooligan thing.
Yeah, just think old Power Thirst videos for those of you who know. And it's oh god, it's so brilliant. I
Think
can't wait to
raw.
put it in there.
American horsepower, V8, big displacement. That's what it is.
Sunday. Monster truck. Yeah, that's the kind of
A fighter jet
vibe.
made of biceps. And you have to watch it on video. You have to watch it on video because it's the only way to do it to get the full effect of it.
Oh yeah. If you're still listening on Spotify and not watching video, well, first off, I think we can do video on Spotify, but we're just doing it on YouTube. But if you're not watching us by now, like, drive your Amish cart back home and watch us on YouTube.
we were just God. You just lost all our Amish viewers, but
There were so many of them.
no,
Play
but, like,
DCS.
now that we're monetized, maybe we'll start doing that. If
But
money
hey,
starts rolling
if you're
to
from
pay
the
for it.
Mennonite community, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe.
Yeah, Fifi needs a new desk. You can build. You guys build great furniture.
We might be running out of time we'll try to still throw a story or two in, but
We'll
what
throw a
time we
couple
had,
stories
we're
in.
eating up
We have time.
with the excitement now about ED signing off on our video.
We got time for stories. Let's do stories.
That's nine. Hey,
So-
guys, 9line's fault, 100%, straight up.
Yeah,
He's not
just
here to
blame
defend
9line.
himself. It's his fault.
Those guys are getting blamed for everything right now, anyways. So let's just keep piling on them. So
No, I would. No,
as we
so
complain about ED signing off on our shit. Yeah.
I think ED is doing really well, and I think that it is a symptom of creating a study level environment for us to go out and have fun as virtual aviators.
Hell yeah.
yeah, that we're not going to go deep into the drama, but there,
You can't-
That needs.
As a kid, so just the way I would leave it, we as video gamers wanted a study level combat simulator better than Microsoft Flight Simulator. Eagle Dynamics said, hey, we can do this. They put it together. And now that it's here, it's like the most nitpicked thing that I've ever been a part of. And I'm like, this is what everybody has asked for,
I feel like 9line's message hijacking the last 5-10 minutes of this podcast. I feel like it's like 9line coming into the room and be like, I made you dinner, honey. You're like, no, Mom, I'm doing a podcast. Shut the door.
Ooh. At the end, we got to remember to discuss upcoming events with, people and,
Yeah. Okay. So we've completely hijacked this now.
Yeah, we'll just
I
push
think-
stories the next time. Let's just talk about other
No,
shit.
we owe the people stories. We promise stories. We'll just go a little long. But yeah, the other thing is, so I don't even know how to approach this in the sense that come October-ish,
Yeah, rip the band-aid
sometime
off.
in October. Yes, sometime in October and October-ish, Wags is gonna come on, and he wants to start making rounds in the podcasts, and we're one of them.
We
As
booked
was
Wags.
the goal. They actually approached us.
Yes.
I will say that they actually approached us, because we want to. We're going to talk about everything, everything that's going on, and minus a few things because of legal obligations. But we're going to talk about it, and it's going to be good. We're going to get some answers that we want to know. We have a good feeling about what everybody wants to know, and yeah, and we're going to start kind of changing the narrative. ED is big right now about trying to be a little bit more transparent as a company, because they realize that that's what the community deserves, and that's all part of why we're here, and also why they're gonna come on the podcast and start talking about it all. So
So
That's gonna be
this is twice in the progress of the podcast. The first one was Grey Wolf Jester. And we're like, oh, it'd be so cool if we could get Jester on the podcast. And we're like, but not. We'll approach him later when we feel like we're big enough and we're like it's worthy of his time. And then he approached us, And then the same discussion was Wags. Like we were like, someday we might even get Wags on the podcast, but not yet. We're not ready. It's not good enough. We got to make this better. And then
we
all of a
haven't
sudden,
even cleaned the house.
yeah, all of a sudden Wags is knocking at the door, and we're like, oh, okay, you can come in in October. Let us clean up.
Yeah. So been emailing with him. He's super cool.
Yeah.
They all are.
Coolest dude. Yeah. And yeah, even like Nui and 9line Man, like those guys, phenomenal people. Dealing just with us, just throwing all sorts of ridiculous ideas and stuff at them, and then they're like, "Let's go."
That sounds cool. Yeah,
let's do it. Yeah,
like you'll see when you see the video from the Cockpit tournament, the kind of stupid crap they're signing off on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great.
And it's all because a couple of people have clicked like, follow, subscribe, and commented, because there was a time where the three of us were sitting down and we're talking. We're like, hey, when do we measure this as like a successful thing? And, Fifi's like, oh, we need to have, 8 videos out. And then I was like, oh, we need to have a video go past 10,000 views. And Scud's like, oh, we need this many subscribers. And we've hit that. And
it's still growing.
It's still growing, but it's not something that like we did though. Cause like the community is awesome. Like everybody who's interacts with us in the Discord, everybody who comments, like you guys are the ones that give us the fuel to like dream of what the next week is going to bring about. And it's like the first episode said, we didn't have a community at start. We found a community, and now we want to grow a community. So,
hey, look at us. Look at us.
Look at me now.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways,
you guys didn't play along. The whole like Paul Rudd video where he's saying, look at us. And,
look at us. Yeah.
Jimmy, like, he's like, "Wah."
Yeah, maybe we can get Paul Rudd on the podcast now. I mean,
that was yeah.
I would love to have Paul Rudd
when we're ready, when we're big enough.
We're big enough.
Saying that, he'll just reach out to us and be like,
yeah. So
weird, you didn't know this about me, but I'm a huge DCS player and I want to be your podcast.
Oh my gosh, dude, how awesome would that be?
So
let's throw out let's do I don't know, 3 to 5 minute quick stories.
3 to 5 minute quick stories. Do we want to let Jimmy go first or last? Because he always has some of the better stories. Do we just get it out of the way and let everybody just ignore our stories?
No, let's let him go last. That way, our shitty stories they hang on for his at the end. Because if he goes first, they'll listen to his and then done.
I'm gonna make it super boring and monologue this time.
Because everybody's hanging on to see your little video trailer. I've already downloaded it too, so.
I'll send you a new one. There's one with a couple of. But anyways, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right,
okay.
Sure, I'll go. I'll make it quick.
Right, I got the timer.
Yeah. So there I was, deployed. Another hardship tour to Guam, like the last story. It's rough. I know.
Terrible.
Beach bar, karaoke bars. It's rough.
Phenomenal food.
So we were doing a large force exercise, which is where lots of airplanes show up and like a red flag size exercise. And as the B-52, we were tasked to get past a certain line to simulate a bomb drop on the enemy territory. They were going to try to shoot us down. Well, we shared a building with, we kind of owned the building when we were there because we're always there. Bombers were always on Guam. But when other units showed up, sometimes they would share space in the building. And the Eagles showed up and they were sharing space in our building. And on this particular day, they were on the other side. We're skins, their shirts type of thing. And walked to the printer to grab some stuff off the printer for our flight when we're in the mission planning, cell planning. And what's sitting on the printer? A mission data card for the Eagles that are flying against us that they just left sitting on the printer. They made a copy and left one on the glass, which if you're not familiar with what that means, the mission data card is everything. It's all their frequencies, their timeline, how they're going to fly, what they're going to do. And now we have all the intel we need on the guys that are going to try to shoot us down. On that mission data card is their interflight frequency. That was the thing glowing on the card, standing out to us. We're like, we have their frequency. So we run back to the mission planning cell and we huddle up and we're like, we need to exploit this. We need to exploit this. And the guy I'm flying with is like, I got this. In the B-52, we have lots of crew stations. We don't always have them full. So what we do is we make these patch cords that let you plug an iPad or an iPhone or something in, and you can plug it into the comm system, and you can flip it over to interphone in the jet, and you can play music, and that's how we listen to music on long flights. Well, that same interphone switch can be flipped over to any one of your radios. You got to be really careful listening to music that you're not on the wrong switch, because when you key the mic for the music, it might transmit. If you see where I'm going. So we have their frequency.
Might transmit.
And my buddy Paul, Sick Barber, he great dude. He's like, I got this. And he's like, we're gonna comm jam him. Hey, we're simulating war. Comm jamming is a real thing. Well, when you get comm jam, one of the things that you have on your mission data card is something called a chatter mark. And if you think you're getting comm jammed, you just say chatter mark, chatter mark, chatter mark whenever you can. And that tells everyone in your formation to automatically go to the backup frequency. Let's get off the jamming, go to the backup freak. They don't have a chatter mark. So we take off and we fly, and we're listening on their radio, on one of our extra radios, and we're hearing them start to get ready for the fight. Like the countdown's coming, 2 minutes until the push. And they're starting to sort targets and, do all the fighter pilot stuff. And in the middle of them doing all that stuff, Paul looks over at me with a big grin, keys the mic, and clicks play on his iPad or iPod, and it's tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, and he holds that shit for like 3 or 4 minutes. So we've now pushed. We're driving in. The fight has started, and these guys have lost all ability to talk to each other. And after about a minute or two into the fight, he unkeys the mic, and then suddenly you hear all of them on the radio, like checking in, and then they start talking real fast, like, oh, let's get back to coordinating. And by the time they get started, he just looks at me and keys the mic again and starts playing the Russian national anthem for about another 5 minutes. Just comm jam the shit out of them. That's all they can hear on their radios. No ability to talk to each other. We land, we go back in, we debrief. We walk up to the step desk as part of our debrief, and here come the Eagle guys, and they're pissed. Like, they're pissed off because it's a huge safety issue, and you guys put our flight at risk, and blah, 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 safety issue. And we're arguing with them. They're like, well, you left your comm card on the desk, and this is called comm jamming. Like, there's procedures to handle it. And as we're arguing back and forth, their weapons school patch walks into the room. And this is a full bird colonel, Eagle driver, weapons school graduate, weapons school instructor. Like, and he has every bit of that presence. Like, Ed Harris would play him in a movie if this guy were in a movie. And he walks in with his buzz cut hairdo and his patches on, and he's super tall, and he walks in with this chip on his shoulder attitude. And he's like, what the hell's the fight about? And they start bitching to him about the fight. And he lets them talk for a minute, and then he just calmly goes, "Do you guys have a chatter mark?" And they're like, well, no. And before they could even get done saying that, he looks at us and he goes, "Nice job, B-52s," and walks out of the room. And they just deflated, because they're like, zipper suited sun god just sided with us. And so that's my comm jamming the Eagles with the Russian national anthem story.
Feels good, man. Feels good.
Yeah, it was a good feeling.
I am good.
That guy's a legend.
Hell yeah.
Dude, when he walked in the room, I thought we were host. He was going to drag us out back and beat us up or some shit.
So, weapons and tactics for anybody watching. Everybody knows what Top Gun is. Top Gun instructor. That's the Air Force version. It was the Air Force's way of going back, looking at tactical situations, taking Magic 8 Ball of thought process and solving problems, and updating doctrine and tactics to evolve with the asymmetric warfare.
It's exactly right. It's
Yeah, exactly.
the Air Force version of Top Gun.
Yep.
It was like, yeah, so it would be like Michael Ironside walking in the room. Like,
Well, yeah, fair.
what was it? He wasn't Jester. It was
Holy
I'm so
crap.
dumb for not knowing this.
Yeah, I'm
Anyways.
sunburnt and I've been in the sun all day, so that's my excuse.
Tell a story.
Hey, so that's everybody comment in the comments. Tell us who he was.
I can't remember it.
I'm
gonna look it up.
Give us all sorts of help for it. Yeah, Scott's gonna Google it.
All right,
I don't know.
Fifi, you're on the clock.
All right. So I guess my story would be like when I was learning how to fly the Stearman, which is the old biplane World War II trainer. We went to
Oh, he was Jester.
Chino. Was he Jester? Okay.
I was thinking of the other guy.
When we went out to Chino to go get some check rides and get some more instruction, because there's this dude who owned like 4 or 5 of them, and then also owned a PT-22, Is that what that was?
PT-22?
Yeah, PT-22. I got to take a ride in the PT-22. That's a cool jet or cool airplane. But so this guy was like, he must have been like 90 years old, and he lived in his hangar with his 3 airplanes, not married. Not like, I mean, this dude was like
Has a badass life.
old school pilot as old school pilots can get, right? Yeah. And so when we're on the ground and we're talking to him, like the dude can barely walk. Like he was kind of like hunched over in like that pilot hunch, where your shoulders are kind of up a little bit and you just kind of walk around like this from sitting in seats. And he when I sat down and started talking to him, couldn't understand a single thing he said because he sounded like he was mumbling. He was just like and I'm like, what the fuck? And then, so as soon as I started kind of learning how to hear him and hear what he said, he was telling me about how he used to be a crop dust pilot, and he's crashed plenty of these planes before.
That's exactly what you want to hear from the guy you're about to fly with.
Reassured.
Who's supposed to be instructing me, right? Who's supposed to be instructing me on how to fly this plane?
I don't know, crash launch.
I used to fly crop dusters with this thing, and I've crashed this particular plane like 4 or 5 times. And I'm like, what the? And I look over at Matt, the guy who brought me down there with him, and I was like, dude, seriously, you're gonna put me in a plane with this guy? And so I got in the plane. It's all better judgment. And we start up, and we're on throat mics, like because we had leather helmets and like the old school glass goggles and throat mics. Because because he was part of like the Stearman, like the Warbird, like the reenactment Warbird flight. So we had all authentic flight gear. And I'm like, this is going to be great. Like, it still had like the old school, like OD green, like super thin padded seats in the metal buckets that with a canvas strap that you call a seatbelt in that thing. And as soon as we get on intercom on the throat mics, clear as day. His voice.
It was all mouth mumbling, not
Yeah,
from the throat.
Yeah, clear as day. And I was just like, what is going on? So we go up and he takes me around and stuff like that. And then he's like, so and so now I understand what he's saying. So he goes, when you land any of these old tear dragger warbirds, he goes, you never do like a regular straight in approach that you used to do and what you guys are flying with all that fancy stuff. He's like, you basically you bring your wingtip even with the end of the runway, and you tip in, you dive at the runway, and you roll out and pull up at the last second, and then you kind of touch down. And I'm like, this doesn't seem safe. And next thing you know it, we're in the pattern. I'm looking over my left shoulder, looking out, and I'm in the front seat of the Stearman, so I'm kind of sitting at the very trailing edge of the wing. And I look over, and there's the runway, like the threshold of the runway, showing up just behind the aileron, and get thrown because he's just rolling in like he's about to dive bomb the Japanese. And I kid you not, I swear to God, he had to have skid plates on the end of those wings, the way like we came in on that approach, and I was screaming the entire time. And then it was the smoothest, softest landing I've ever butter every single time.
Of course it was.
Yeah. And then like he showed me, he's like, yeah. He goes, this is the kind of landing I always used to crash at and stuff like that. This is what I would always end up crashing with. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, and he showed me like the forward slips, like doing forward slips on a tail dragger. And, in a Stearman, it's an entirely wooden fabric airplane. So it's very light, and you can see the fabric on the wing start rippling, and you can see everything starting to flex, and you can feel it creaking around.
Mm-hmm.
And he puts the thing into a big forward slip at like 65 miles an hour, which is fast for a Stearman. And you could see the wings just starting to flex, and it starts rippling and creaking. You can see the wind going not the right way over the ribs of the wings and stuff. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, I'm going to freaking die. Like, I'm going to die again. And last second, boots the rudder back over, brings it back to center, touches it down in the grass. 100%. Got out. My knees were still shaking for like the entire car ride back from that. But yeah, that was, that's how I thought I was about to die in a Stearman with a dude who admits that he crashed it multiple times.
Multiple times, yeah. I've ridden in a Stearman once, and all the flying I've done, such a unique, like, unbelievable experience.
It's spiritual. That's the only way I can talk about flying in a Stearman. Everybody needs to take a ride in an open cockpit biplane once and get their face covered in oil.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it. But yeah, that's how I almost died. Jimmy, we know you're going to blow us out of the water.
All right, so
that was his cue. And action.
So let me start this timer. So I spent probably half my career flying on the C-130, starting with the H model, went to the J model. Not actually aircrew, did ground stuff, but we did close-in ground security for areas that we didn't own. And this is everywhere in the world. My first missions were all over Iraq, picking up detainees, taking them down to Basra, and then taking them over to Buka. So spent a lot of time sleeping in a hammock, back in the cargo area of the C-130. I can sleep for days with that drone to like that. True. That is me. Like, True. Fifi loves the Herc, but like I've got thousands of hours sleeping in Hercs and then thousands of hours sitting on a ramp like this in just like austere areas, just like nothing's moving, and because of that mission set. So I always did Hercules, and so we called ourselves tactical airlift. If you go to a Herc unit, they'll tell you like right off the bat, we were tactical airlift. And then you go to C-17, C-5, that's strategic airlift. There's a big difference. You're not taking a C-17 or a C-130, or sorry, C-5 anywhere that we went. So we started a mission. We were flying out of Ramstein, Germany. We were flying from there, did an 8-hour leg. We were flying to a third world country doing a Department of State support mission. We're basically the delivery guys, for some people. And it's always unique when you fly to, sorry, did I say first world? I meant third world community or third world country. And it's amazing when you fly a C-130 into a country that doesn't have running water, because they see that big gray tail. They see people jumping out in flight suits, and it is like Fifi getting to meet Tom Cruise in a Mustang. So we're down there. We did because we always had to have waivers, because it's not a fast airplane. And so we had a duty day waiver. We flew for like 16 hours. And we get to our destination, and crew rest was in this like hotel. It was like the only place that's proof, by the Department of State. But the highlight of this, we land, and we would always get people who weren't familiar or used to seeing, United States Air Force planes flying, and they'd always want to come in, looky-loo, be like, just talk to us. And we had this dude roll up. And this is after like a 16-hour like duty day. And we did two stops for gas. We get there, and air crew's out to start, crew rest so that we can get out as fast as possible. Half the team goes to the hotel with them to get their sleep. And it's my team's turn to stay with the bird. And after being on the ground for about 5 minutes, we already got the front of the aircraft closed up. We got the ramp halfway down, so we can sit there. We got the door halfway open, and we're set up. We got the campsite, and this dude pulls up in this, like, I swear, leftover tractor, World War II. Like, this thing has seen decades of use, and he has like a couple of 50-gallon, those big water drums, rusted to shit. It's got like hoses going in and out. And he goes up and he introduces himself. He's like, "Hey, I'm the fire chief." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. And he's like, "I'm going to do your fire safety." I was like, "All right, yeah." I was like, that's awesome. Like the places we go, they don't have fire departments. It's awesome. Thank you. And this dude, comes around like every hour or so. He's like, "Hey, is your airplane on fire yet?" And we're like, "No, dog, the airplane's not on fire yet." So fast forward, crew rest is over. My other half the team's there. Loadmasters, pilots are there. We're starting to fire up the engines, and homie with his, fire tractor pulls up, and he parks right on the nose of the bird. And an aircraft commander's like, "Hey, Corey, can you go tell him to move?" I was like, "I got this." And I was like, "Hey," walked up. I was like, "Hey, thank you so much. We're getting ready to go." And something that's also very common in third world countries is extortion. And he pulls up and he parks. He says, "No, sir, you cannot leave. I need my fire safety tax." And I said, I heard about this in training in my head. I'm like, oh, hey, cool. I was like, hey, listen, I'm not
Hey,
sure
I'm
if you're
being
aware of this.
extorted right now.
I was like, I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but this is sovereign U.S. soil, this airplane, United States government. You see the flag? U.S. military, we're here, Department of State mission. We don't pay those fees. We don't do that. You need to move. And, he's like, oh, no, very serious. And I was like, well, how much? And that's where I made a mistake. He's like, 10,000 American dollars. And I was like, bro, listen, we do not pay those. Again, American dirt that flies, this is, you put 1 foot on there, that's America. You're touching America, and he's like, no. I was like, so I go back to the aircraft commander. I was like, we need to call the freaking State Department and tell them to tell this guy to, beat feet and get gone. And he's like, for real? And I was like, he's not moving. This is after I talked to him for like 15 minutes. Engines are running. And aircraft commander's like, he's like, I'll send a load master out. I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Load master goes out. He's like, hey, move. And he's like, hey, no. And I was like, oh, that went great. And so after like another like 15 minutes of me like, hey, is there anything I can say to get you to, do what I want you to do? And he's like, yeah, give me money. I was like, that's not going to happen, dude. And we get back in and I was like, I look, all the doors are closed. I get in and I was like, he's not moving. He's like, bro, nobody from State Department's answering. There's like 3 people in this country. We might end up staying here. And I was like, we can't stay here. Aircraft commander's like, watch this shit. And so load masters, tuck in, team tucks in, and he goes like this. Everything's fired up. We've been running for like 45 minutes now. He goes like this. And we back taxi and drive around his tractor and take off into the sunset. And the whole time I'm watching this dude, I'm sitting on the ramp. I'm like, this dude had better not move. And like the second we started to back taxi, his jaw hit the floor and he's like, oh my God. Like it was like you getting comm card and seeing that they don't have a pace plan in there. And this dude was just like on the floor. And we're just like sitting there like, hey, we can drive backwards.
I'm trying to imagine in my mind, like, what if the plane was on fire? And all I picture is this dude with like a green garden hose, and he's like,
and a hand crank.
He's like spinning a hand crank out of the drum.
Yes,
like, it's just the water's just like. That's $10,000 worth of fire safety right there,
dude. I'm telling you, like you're exactly right. Like I think it was like 6 of the 50. The barrels were all connected by hoses, and it had one of those old hand cranks on it, and it had a hose connected to it. And that's why, like, when he came over, he's like, I'm your fire protection. And I was like, oh, dude, that's awesome. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna get some money from you.
Yeah, I've got an idea. I got a plan to get rich.
Yeah. So that's yeah. Awesome.
Now, anytime I hear anything from out of Jimmy's mouth talking about when I tell him something and he goes, that's awesome, I'm really like, no, it's not. He's being sarcastic.
Yeah,
and being a jerk.
He's totally placating you.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, like when you meet people, I'm like, oh, just no way. I've never seen that before.
That's so cool. Geez. Well, thank you for hanging out for a slightly extended episode, courtesy of Eagle Dynamics. And yeah, we'll I guess we'll just end it with the video, the advertisement.
Yeah.
So yeah. I guess if you guys are good with it, I'll just in the words of Grey Wolf go rifle kazoo. Are you a DCS virtual combat aviator?
Yeah.
Are you an armchair ace? Do you like winning prizes? Then we need you to sign up for the High Alpha Hooligans Dogfight Tournament Extravaganza. Brought to you by Eagle Dynamics and Fox 3 Management Solutions. Get ready to light the burners and take it to the merge in the most extreme aerial combat showdown you've ever seen. Including all of your favorite fighter jets like the Viper, the Hornet, the Tomcat, and the Eagle. Watch legends be born and friendships explode in a fireball of flares and flaps. Sign up now or stay in bed with the rest of the mortals. High Alpha Hooligans Dogfight Tournament Extravaganza is sponsored by Eagle Dynamics and Fox 3 Management Solutions. Prizes will be provided by Eagle Dynamics and High Alpha Hooligans. High Alpha Hooligans is not responsible for sudden loss of social life. Warning, High Alpha Hooligans Dogfight Tournament Extravaganza may not be suitable for all pilots. Side effects include laughing, crying, chronic obsession with AOA, acute throttle envy, involuntary HOTAS syndrome, emotional damage, RWR-induced stress disorder, uncontrollable rage, tightening of pants, eye strain, delusions of grandeur, perceived frame drops in real life, pregnancy, calling your mom, magic, panic attacks, tactical tunnel vision, hyperjoysticus maximus, track IR, misalignment syndrome, chronic afterburner dependency, and shingles. Consult your ego before participating.